Hello chess friends, welcome back to our YouTube channel. So here's a very nice chess problem for you guys. It's white to play and win the game. As you can see, black has a queen here along with the bishop. In compensation, white has a lot of pawns which are going to create some serious play for white. So it's white to play, win the game. I have titled this chess problem as Knightmare. As you'll see, there is a beautiful sequence of moves which earns the title. So I'm going to leave you with this problem for a few seconds. Try to crack it. It's really beautiful. Alright, so let's finally dive into the solution. Okay, white has got two very strong pass pawns here, the f6 pawn and the a6 pawn. I think the a pawn is far more stronger and difficult to stop, and that's why we first play pawn to a7. Now, how do you stop it? In fact, there is only one way to stop it. You can't use the e4 square. You cannot use your bishop, unfortunately. There's only one way to stop the pawn, and that's to play queen to a4. Alright, the pawn has stopped. How do you make progress? The black here creates another passed pawn with pawn to f7. Now basically, black has a queen, but the queen is constantly tied up using, to stop the pawn. She has to stop the pawn at all costs. Otherwise, looking at the severe position of the black king, I think it's quite obvious. If you let white promote, he will win the game instantly. So, what should black play here? It turns out that there is only one move which stops both the pawn from promoting, and that is queen to a3. So you can see we are controlling the f8 square as well as the a8 square. We are eyeing that square, and we have successfully stopped it. How do we continue here as white? And this is why I have named this problem as Knightmare. Yeah. Finally, knight on e2 has some purpose, and it will go to b4. Here's a very interesting idea. Basically, the queen cannot capture it. If the queen captures, obviously you're still looking at the f8 square, but not at the a8 square, which means I'll promote here, resulting into a checkmate in 2, I think. Yeah, the bishop blocks, queen blocks, and that's a mate to follow up. So, you cannot take this. Can you take the pawn? Not really, because then I'll still promote on f8, and that is still going to win for white. So black after knight to b4 has been left only with one choice. What is that? Black has only one move, and that is to play queen takes on f3. So the queen on f3 basically stares at the a8 square, also looks at the f8 square. So we have finally stopped the promotion again, and also we have captured a pawn, right? That's certainly progress for black. But here's why. Here's what we are going to do now. The same knight which blocked the queen on b4 is now going to go to d5, right? So knight maneuver from a2 to b4 and now to d5, blocking it again, making it again impossible for the queen to capture anything at all. So the threat is obviously you're disconnecting the queen with the a8 square, which means the threat is to promote on a8. So what happens? Let's say if you take the knight, that's mate in 2. After this, mate in 3, I think, because this will block, and I think something like this should just quickly finish the game in 3 moves. So that is not good. We can't really take the knight because of it promotes. If you take the f pawn, however, same story, right? The a pawn promotes. So here is a very tricky position for black. You cannot take anything. You can't take the knight. You can't take the pawn. Moving the bishop is illogical because anyway we are just going to promote. And what next? I mean, if you play, let's say, bishop c4, bishop c8, I'll just promote, and I'm threatening this, as well as in certain cases, if you take, like, what can you do here? There is no good move, right? You try to protect it. So with this, I think what I can do here is takes, maybe even knight f6, or maybe even knight e7. But I think the best move here has to be queen e1. I'm not using an engine right now, so I'm just giving you the variation on the spot. So this is I think winning. Yeah. There's no way to stop it. Okay, so blocking with the bishop does not help. In fact, turns out that there's only one move that continues the game for black, and that's to play queen a3 back to the original square. So we take control of the f8 and a8 square, and again we have stopped it, right? Now here's again why it justifies the title Knightmare. Knight will again jump the e7 square, and this time it blocks the uh, path towards the f8 square, right? So threat is to promote f8 with a checkmate, instantly checkmate. So can you take the knight? No, the same old story, yeah. A pawn promotes. Can you take the a pawn? Absolutely not. F pawn promotes. So it's a serious trouble. How do you stop both the pawns from promoting? Queen f3. That's basically the story of the life of this queen. She just have to shift around on a3 to f3 in order to stop the pawns. While the knight has made a lot of progress, right? He was on a2, then went on b4, then here, and now where will it go? Well, it's possible to play other moves. There are two moves here. It's a dual solution. You can use the f5 square, but even more direct is knight to g6 check, forcing his reply. H takes. Now h into g6. Here's a very interesting thing. G7 checkmate is coming. This pawn threatens to promote. This pawn threatens to promote. And there is no check, right? I mean, you can't. There is no sensible check. I mean, Queen h5 is a check. That's what the engine suggests with a checkmating few moves, 5 moves or something. It's lost basically. Because of the bishop on h3, you can't give a check on the h5, a logical check. And the threat of g7 is too severe. This time, if you try to stop it, let's say Queen c3, I think just f8 wins. a8 wins as well, but f8 is the fastest way to win the game. So this is seriously beautiful and brilliant. And the amount of play that we created with this pawn and knight was really awesome. So yeah, this was something. I really like this puzzle. Let me just take you to the most important moment. Yeah, the one thing I really like about this problem is the way the knight moved, right? So here, let me just take you through it. Here, knight b4, knight d5, knight e7, and finally knight to g6. So knight made 1, 2, 3, 4 moves. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 moves in order to get this position. And we only have pawns here, but they are enough to win because the threat we are creating are too much for the queen to handle, right? 3 threats at the same point: a8, f8, and g7. 3 threats, which the queen is kind of overloaded to look after all of that. And here we see the end of the problem. In fact, it's a mating fight. Just queen h5 takes, and yeah, it's going to terminate very soon. So this was really awesome. I just solved it and I thought I should share it with you. And this time I got the names of the composers. I'm going to write it in the description. I'm going to give the credit. Obviously, it's important to give the credit to this the composers. You know, they have really worked hard, and they have worked hard for something really nice, right? These are really good puzzles, good problems. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.